BestBookBits.com brings you the book summary of Born to Run by Christopher McDougall. Every year, millions of people all around the world run marathons. You might think they're all completely crazy, or that you could never run a marathon yourself. Many of us are secretly fantasize about being marathon runners, if only this were possible. However, it doesn't take a freakish, superhuman physique to cover 26 miles and 385 yards at a clip. You just need some training and the right attitude to get yourself off the couch. In this summary of Born to Run by Christopher McDougall, you'll learn why dogs can't run marathons, why most running shoes hurt us rather than help us, and why the best runners run like kindergartens. Before we start this summary, we at Best Book Bits have done over 1,000 book summaries in video written in audio format, so check out the website bestbookbits.com, follow us on YouTube, and listen to us on Apple Podcast. On with the summary. Born to Run key idea number 1. The human body is evolutionarily well adapted to long-distance running. When you think of fast sprinters, your mind probably jumps to the cheetahs or coursers, but when it comes to running long distances, it's actually Homo sapiens who take the lead. The reason? It's in our physiology. For one, humans are able to dissipate heat more rapidly than other animals. Most other mammals don't have the right glands in their skin to cool down via sweating, so their main method for releasing body heat is through breathing. When four-legged animals want to run fast, they break into a gallop. This method of running, though quick, restricts their breathing rate because the moving leg muscles squish the animal's lungs like bellows. As a result, while running fast, most animals can only breathe at a rate of 1 breath per stride. This worked fine for them until they reach the critical limit at which they heat up faster than they can cool down. Then they have to stop running in order to survive. We humans, on the other hand, prevent overheating by sweating through our skin. As a result, the human breathing cycle is not determined by our need to cool down, making it more efficient at procuring oxygen and maintaining endurance. A second key factor that makes humans master runners is that we move on 2 legs instead of 4. When early humans began to walk upright, thus freeing their hands to use tools and reach higher hanging fruits, it allowed their throats to open and chests to expand. Though this development came at an expense of sprinting speed, this new posture and the increase in our air capacity enabled them to maintain running over long distances. Finally, our Achilles tendon is the third trait distinguishing humans as runners. Some 95% of human DNA correlates with what our close genetic relative, the chimpanzee, but even these primitives don't have this flexible rubber band-like cord of collagen tissue in their lower leg. As it's stretched, the tendon stores its energy until it's ready to be released when the leg propels the body forward. This maximizes our endurance because it takes us less energy to spring from one step to the next. Born to Run key idea number 2. Running shoes actually do more harm than good. As was seen, we may have many biological traits that work to our advantage as runners. Sometimes, though, we actually hinder our natural gifts with inventions that are intended to help. A key culprit here is running shoes, which are guilty of stabilizing the foot too well. When you run, your foot rolls inward in a process called pronation that acts as a built-in shock absorber for the lower leg. Unfortunately, pronation has been demonized as being responsible for a runner's knee, a painful and common ailment. As a result, we now see a fleet of pronation elevating shoes on the market, although a mere 3% of the population has a medical need for special shoes. For most people, encasing the foot in a shoe is like having a plaster cast on the leg. The shoe limits the foot's full movement, causing the muscles to atrophy and the foot to lose strength. The resulting imbalances throughout the body put excessive strain on certain muscles and joints and can lead to injury, which is why taking running shoes out of the equation might actually be better for you. Consider Alan Webb, the greatest mile runner in the United States, who suffered from foot injuries while still in school. Part of the problem was that Webb had flat feet with low arches, which are not well suited to running. Thanks to various barefoot running exercises, however, his feet strengthened and his arches rose dramatically. So much so, in fact, that his feet size 12 now fit into size 9 or 10 shoes, and his foot injuries abated. Another problem with running shoes is that they mask the discomfort caused by harmful impacts against the ground. Thickly cushioned shoes fail to alert runners to the painful shock waves that reverberate through their bodies as they pound the pavement, thus preventing them from adopting less harmful running forms. Barefoot running, on the other hand, forces the runner to adapt to a natural and ultimately more comfortable gait. Born to Run key idea number 3. To run faster and longer, restrict your protein intake and switch to a vegetarian diet. Okay, so now that we've gotten rid of the shoes, what's next? Sorry to say, but your bacon habit might have to bite the dust if you want to become a champion runner. Despite Western society's current vogue for diets based around lean meats, cutting out meat entirely is probably your best bet. If you need evidence, just look at some of history's greatest endurance athletes, many of whom were vegetarians. Japanese marathon runners, monks for instance, would complete 25,000-mile ultra-marathons on a daily provision of miso soup, tofu, and vegetables. Or take Percy Kirtry, coach to some of the greatest runners of all time, who strongly advocated a vegetarian diet. He often pushed his clients through triple sessions on a simple diet of raw oats, fruits, cheeses, and nuts. Elite ultra runners Scott Jurek took it even further and switched to a vegan diet, despite being told that he wouldn't recover from workouts and would be more susceptible to injuries. He proved his doubters wrong and performed better than ever. A vegetarian diet is especially well suited for running long distance because foods such as fruits, vegetables, and whole grains help you extract the maximum nutrition from the fewest calories. As a result, the body is spared from carrying and processing any additional bulk. Furthermore, your body digests proteins much more slowly than it does carbohydrates. That means that when you eat meat, you're wasting a lot more time waiting for the food to be processed by your digestive system. Think about it this way. Less meat means more time to train and fine-tune your running skills. And don't worry about being malnourished on a meat-free diet, because a diet of grains, legumes, and vegetables processes the amino acids essential for muscle production. They allow for recovery while keeping you ready to run at any moment due to their comparatively brief digestive time. Now that you have the right equipment and diet, let's move on to the next step in becoming a skilled runner, the right training. Born to Run key idea number 4. Form and pace are essential to long distance running. If you've ever watched Olympic sprinting and marathon events back to back, you'll know that they might as well be two completely different sports. For instance, the ideal sprinting posture with a straightened back, steady head, and large, forceful strides is astonishingly different from the way Kenyan athletes choose to run. And given that Kenya is an elite nation in long distance running, we might want to pay attention to how they do it. Ken Morick, an exercise psychologist and the world champion triathlete, set out to discover the Kenyan secret. After watching hours of footage of barefoot Kenyan runners, he discovered that these world-class athletes actually run like kindergartens. The key was moving the legs in smaller contractions to enable quicker foot turnover. This technique increases efficiency and fosters endurance that is ideal for running long distances. Ken came up with a creative, if unusual idea to help athletes to adapt to this form. He set metronomes to 180 beats per minute and attached them to the athletes' clients, instructing them to match their pace to its tempo. After 5 months, a 60-year-old client who'd been a runner for 40 years in the top 10% of his age group saw a significant improvement in his trial time. His running resume proved that the improvements weren't simply the gains of a beginner and that anyone could apply the metronome method to their own running. Once you've got your own form down, the next thing to master is the art of pacing. In order to achieve this, start by trying to stay below the aerobic threshold, that is the point at which you begin breathing heavily. This will help you utilize your fat stores instead of burning through your sugar reserves. This is important because the average person has enough fat store to run very long distances. Unfortunately, the mistake that many runners make is running too quickly and using up their sugar tank, which is far more limited than the fat. Pacing will help you capitalize on the fat reserves and keep you running longer and further. Born to Run key idea number 5. The Tarahumara tribe excel at long distance running because they see running as a part of their identity. The Tarahumara people live in the settlements scattered among the canyons of the northern Mexico. What's the connection to running? Tarahumara roughly translate to the running people. They've aptly named because they are well known for their abilities to regularly run 200 miles in a single session. Not only this, but they also avoid the running injuries typical of modern world. This elusive tribe lives in isolation and shuns outsiders, the reason for which stems from their mistreatment at the hands of the Spanish colonizers. Since the time, the Tarahumara have preferred to stick with one another and experience the natural joy of running. To find out more, the author enlisted the help of a local to track down the secretive tribe. After a marathon drive and a 2-day hike, they finally meet face to face with the tribe and the most respected Tarahumara runner. Thankfully, despite his standoffish reputation, they welcome them and share the secret to being an outstanding runner. The lesson from the Tarahumara was simple: learn to love to run. By creating a mindset and culture based on the belief that running is an indispensable human skill, they've made it hard to be part of the Tarahumara and not enjoy running. It's seen as an ancestral necessity that makes them who they are as people. Not only do they run for the sake of the tribe, but they also run for themselves. But this passion for running isn't limited to only Tarahumara people. It's something many of us can relate to. Do you remember running around with total abandonment and delight when you were a child? The fact is, running can be a blast. Although we're often conditioned to lose this sense of pleasure, the Tarahumara have not forgotten this feeling, and it's something you should relearn too. In review, Born to Run summary, the key messages in this book. Many people are unaware that we humans have a host of innate traits that makes us excellent long-distance runners. One of the most important things you can do for your inner runner is to make sure you don't hinder these inherent gifts. Go barefoot and remember the natural joy of running. Additional advice. The next time you're thinking about throwing away your $100 pair of flashy running shoes, think again. Save the money and your health by opting to go without them entirely. Run on a flat sole like a true Tarahumara if you want to improve your running prowess. And that's a wrap on this book summary, Born to Run. If you like the summary, click the link to download this. We at Best Book Bits. Again, I've done over 1,000 book summaries in video written in audio format. Check us out on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and the website bestbookbits.com. If you want to help support this channel, we have put together our top 500 best book bit summaries in one massive downloadable 15-part volume in PDF and MP3. Click the link to download this so you can read and listen offline, anywhere, anytime, on the go. Thank you again. Have yourself an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye now.